So now moving to our next submitter, John Verde from Fluoride Free New Zealand. And John, you've got 5 minutes to present to us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm John Verde. I moved here with my family from our sister city of Seattle over 6 years ago. Professionally, I've owned a gym, been a fitness instructor, club manager, and otherwise involved in the fitness industry for over 20 years. Naturally, I've had a vested interest in all aspects of fitness, nutrition, and general health. As a resident of Christchurch and voting member of the public, I appreciate the opportunity to express the views of myself and a good number of people I know regarding the artificial fluoridation of our public drinking water. We love living here for all the same reasons that Kiwis should be proud of Aotearoa, and I hope that pure, unadulterated drinking water will continue to be one of those reasons. It is imperative that our local councils represent the views of their communities, especially on issues affecting their health both negatively and positively. While the bill to fluoridate is proposed as a health benefit, it still does not mean that it should be implemented without public consent, and there is precedent that this is indeed a concern to New Zealanders. Today, I would like to address 6 basic issues not being addressed when the government sets out to move decision-making on fluoridation solely to the Director General of Health. Number 1, the public has the right of informed consent with regard to public resources affecting their health. I would like to cite from an NIH abstract on PubMed.gov by authors Douglas W. Cross and Robert J. Canton. Quote, silica fluorides widely used in water fluoridation are unlicensed medicinal substances administered to large populations without informed consent or supervision by a qualified medical practitioner. Fluoridation fails the test of reliability and specificity, and lacking toxicity testing of silica fluorides constitutes unlawful medical research. It is banned in most of Europe. European Union human rights legislation makes it illegal. Silica fluorides have never been submitted to the US FDA for approval as medicines, and the ethical validity of fluoridation policy does not stand up to the scrutiny relative to the Nuremberg Code and other codes of medical ethics, including the Council of Europe's Biomedical Convention of 1999, end quote. Number 2, apart from moral or ethical concerns, public water fluoridation is a medical intervention unequally applied to an entire population, regardless of any individual assessment or need. Dosages cannot be controlled for by age, weight, frequency, and quantity ingested for a hoped-for benefit. Further, the regulation of the amount in parts per million is based on a maximum safe limits for toxicity, not for dental efficacy. So even establishment proponents must admit this as a tacit acknowledgement of the inherent risk associated with the practice, which in any other circumstance might more accurately be called malpractice. Number 3, the public has a right to be informed as to the chemical nature and source of fluoride proposed to be injected into their water, just as much as they can expect on the packaging of any other food, beverage, or medicine they ingest. If I may quote an article from the New Zealand Institute of Chemistry, water fluoridation, quote, is usually done with one of 3 fluoride-containing chemicals, sodium fluoride, sodium fluorosilicate, and hydrofluorosilicic acid. But this article focuses on hydrofluorosilicic acid, as that is the chemical most commonly used in New Zealand for this purpose, end quote. Auckland-based company Ixom is one of a number of fluoride suppliers in New Zealand. They euphemistically call it a naturally occurring co-product of the superphosphate fertilizer manufacturing process, but it is in fact a waste product of the phosphate fertilizer industry. Hydrofluorosilicic acid meets the criteria for classification as a hazardous waste owing to toxicity, reactivity, and corrosivity under 42 United States Code, Section 6901. Former Vice President and Senior Chemist at the United States Environmental Protection Agency headquarters, Dr. William Hersey, had this to say about it, quote, if this stuff gets out into the air, it's a pollutant. If it gets into the river, it's a pollutant. If it gets into the lake, it's a pollutant. But if it goes straight into your drinking water system, it's not a pollutant. That's amazing, end quote. Owing to the high costs of disposal, it is not surprising that these industries would be eager to turn this expense into a resource or a source of income by selling it to municipalities. Collectively, this makes our public water supply systems a hazardous waste disposal system for these products. Before legislation is advanced any further, we request that the Council disclose the source, supplier, and chemical composition of the fluoride additives proposed for use in our water. Number 4, scientific reviews show that water fluoridation may not effectively prevent cavities. I'll quote from an article in Newsweek magazine from June 29, 2015, where they found that fluoridation does not reduce cavities to a statistically significant degree in permanent teeth, says study co-author Anne-Marie Glennie, a health science researcher at Manchester University in the United Kingdom.
Now, I am going to need to draw this to a close, unfortunately, because we're at the end of the 5 minutes. This isn't a matter of decision-making for council, as you would understand, although it is a matter of interest to us as local elected members, and in the same way as it's a matter of interest to our community. But it's not something that actually forms a part of our council long-term plan.
That's why I'm proposing that it be brought back to the council.
Yep.
For submission to the public.
Indeed. All right. Look, thank you very much indeed for coming along and presenting to us this morning. We've got your written submission, which makes the points very, very clear. And, of course, you've added to that this morning as well. Something here that you'd like circulated?
Yep.
Yep, we can have our staff do that as well. No problem at all. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now moving